Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. Today we continue with Auroville, Part 7. Mother continues her talks with the group that comes to meet her each week. Mother: There will be, do you know the small ashram brooches? Well, there is going to be one for Auroville, because there are people who come and settle down on Auroville land, and they refuse to go and see the committee saying, Auroville is free, and they settle down there. But all the same, we need to be able to distinguish between those who are recognized Aurovillians and those who are more fanciful. So something is being prepared. Of course, it is not ready yet. I only wanted to show you. Mother takes a sheet of paper from her table. It will be a small brooch about this size. It is like this. The circle will be made of silver. And here are the four aspects. And Sri Aurobindo's square with the lotus. And Auroville will be written all around it. So you will wear that in your buttonhole. The recognized Aurovillians. Mother smiles. Are there any questions? Yes. There have been some reactions about the little booklet that you gave us on religions, about the sentence which says, our search will not be a search by mystic means. Mother: Our search will not be a search by mystic means. Our search will not be a search affected by mystic means. It is in life itself that we wish to find the divine. And it is through this discovery that life can really be transformed. Mother: They don't know what mystic means are? Maybe they don't know, but perhaps what we do not know either is this: why not by mystic means? I have been asked the question. Mother: By mystic means, I mean the way of those who withdraw from life, like the monks, the people who withdraw into convents, or like the sannyasins here, those who abandon life to find spiritual life, who make a division between the two and say it is either one or the other. We say that is not true. It is in life, and by living life entirely, that one can live the spiritual life. That one must live the spiritual life. The supreme consciousness has to be brought here. From the purely material and physical point of view, man is not the last race. As man came after the animal, so another being must come after man. And as there is only one consciousness, it is the same consciousness which, having had the experience of man, will have the experience of a superhuman being. And so if we go away, if we leave life, if we reject life, then we will never be ready to do that. But if you had read Sri Aurobindo, you would have understood. You would not have asked this question. It is because there is a lack of preparation from the intellectual point of view. You want to know everything without having studied. Mother concentrates for 2 or 3 minutes. It is because when you want something, it is the ego that wants. So the ego must be ignored. The first thing to do is not to act for yourself, but to act in obedience to the divine, to express the divine will. For your part, you have no orders to give. As long as it is a personal will, a personal desire, it is not the true thing. And you cannot, not only is it not the true thing, but you cannot know the true thing. There must be gesture of rejecting something forcefully, break that must be expelled. That is why alone we are nothing at all. This is life. We do not act for ourselves. We do not act from our personal will and for a personal result. We act only by the divine will and for the divine will. So much so that effortlessly, spontaneously, we can feel the greatest tenderness for our physical enemy. When you have felt that, you will understand. That is the whole limitation. The whole limitation. When conflicts arise, and they arise all the time, for all of us, immediately it is as if one were drawing back into one's own skin. For that is what happens. Each one draws back inside himself. But the difficulty is that even when one has relatively little personal will, if the person next to you expresses a personal will, it is exactly, first of all, it creates a reaction. And then too, if you are more or less in agreement with it, you take this will, you see, and you begin to reflect it all around. So you can see what happens. And that is going on all the time. First, one person has a will, and then another, and so on, endlessly. That is happening everywhere. The strongest will prevails. It is worthless, worthless. When we say we are at the service of the divine, it is not just words. It is He who should act through us, not we ourselves. The greatest objection is, how can we know the divine will? But as a matter of fact, I tell you, if you sincerely renounce your personal will, you will know. I have been asked to formulate the aspiration of Auroville, because there's a lot of goodwill, but it does not seem to be organized. So I said, the best thing to do is to formulate what Auroville wants to be. That will provide some coordination, but it is a great task. Each time we could formulate one of the aspirations, or else you could bring me a question each time. And there will be many of them. So one question, and then either I will answer right away, or I will give you the answer the next time. Or else we can try to express together the aspiration of Auroville. Question: do you already have some vision of what this aspiration is? Mother, of course, of course. I know what I want. I know what I want Auroville to be. But there is a considerable gap. It is Auroville in a few years' time, many years from now. Question. But you think that we shall achieve this future, Auroville? Mother, this is how we will proceed. Each time you come, I will give you one of Auroville's aspirations, and then we'll put them one after the other. And the next time you can ask me a question on what I have said the time before. There is one drawback. It is not always the same people who come. There are 3 of you who always come. You must keep up the continuity. What must one be to be a true Aurovillian? You put the question like that. What must one be to be a true Aurovillian? Mother says to A, do you have any ideas? A, for me, the first thing to really be an Aurovillian is the will to consecrate oneself wholly to the divine. Mother, that is good. It is good. But there are not many like that. To G, here, give me a piece of paper. I'm going to write that down as number 1. Mother writes, to be a true Aurovillian, I have written it with only one on purpose. So we shall see about number 2. From the point of view of behavior, of more down-to-earth things, for example, we want to be free from all moral and social conventions. But that is where we have to be very careful. One must not liberate oneself from these things by sinking below them into license and the blind satisfaction of desires. One must liberate oneself from these conventions by rising above them and by eliminating desires, and replace moral rules by obedience to the divine. We have been given a body not to reject it, but to make it into something better. And that is precisely one of the goals of Auroville. The human body must be improved, perfected, and it must become a superhuman body capable of expressing a being higher than man. And this certainly cannot happen if we neglect it. It is by an enlightened physical culture and by using physical activities, the activities of the body, not for little personal needs and satisfactions, but to make the body more capable of expressing a higher beauty and consciousness. And for that, physical education has an important place which should be given to it. The question, why are they like that? Everyone says to me, they are like this, they are like that. Why are they like that? And in every domain. And that is precisely why I thought of doing what I spoke of before, formulating the true aspiration of Auroville. And this cultivation of the body must be done with an enlightened sense, not to do eccentric or marvelous things, but to give the body the possibility of being strong and supple enough to express a higher consciousness. That will be part of the long list. They need to be told a little. Each has come with an aspiration. The idea that he would find something new, but it is not very clear. And so they must be given a clear picture, comprehensive enough for all the aspirations to be able to find their place and their expression. We will do that. We see each other once a week. We will do it little by little, to be. You will have to tell them, but I have just said it. They can be told. You can tell them physical culture has an important place in preparing the body for its new functions. There, Mother laughs. There follows a quarter of an hour's meditation. Then Mother takes back the notebook in which she has written, to be a true Aurovillian. And point number 1 on the long list, and says, there, I have written number 2. The Aurovillian does not want to be a slave to his desires. It is a major resolution.